Hyundai believes there is a difference between making cars and making cars that make a difference. Every moment you experience the wonder created by Hyundai, expect to hear this sound. Hyundai. New thinking. New possibilities.
Hey guys, welcome to a very special episode of Juic-e News here on Tech Island. Because we have a very special guest today, the Managing Director of Microsoft Philippines, Mr. John Bessey. Hello, John.
Hi, Manuel.
Hi, welcome to the show.
Great to be here.
Yeah, so first off, I'm going to start off with a very tricky question already for you.
Sure.
I hope you don't mind.
Okay.
How important is the Southern Philippines market to Microsoft?
Well, the Philippines as a whole is very important to Microsoft, and the Southern Philippines, particularly because of its geographic disbursement, is very important in terms of how we work within this market. So I mean, it's incredibly important. That's why we're here today. We're meeting with 120 partners this afternoon to talk about that very topic, about how we do a better job and increase the work we're doing here in the Southern Philippines.
What about how is Microsoft adapting to consumerization of IT, especially in devices? Because, you know, everybody's going to gadgets right now. Everyone is getting smaller. Everybody wants to bring something handheld with them. So what's Microsoft doing about that?
Firstly, when you look at Microsoft's devices and our software that's working on either phones or PCs or slates, what we're seeing is that people are using technology at home that sometimes is more advanced than the technology they're using at work. And this has a couple of impacts in terms of that. It means that there's an ability in the workforce that we're not leveraging in the workplace around social media, content sharing that can be used in business. On the device side, absolutely, when you look at something like Windows Phone 7, it's absolutely a great user experience with magical software, working with great device makers to make sure we've got a very consumerized focus to what we're bringing to market. The second piece of that is, of course, what IT departments have to get ready for and what businesses have to get ready for is this plethora of devices, so that people are able to bring devices to work and they're secure. And so there's a lot of work we're doing to work with IT departments and business owners to make sure that they've got the infrastructure in place around things like identity management to make sure that they have this flexibility and to enjoy this new era of consumerization of IT. But it's absolutely focal to what we're doing.
What else is Microsoft doing about cloud computing, and how are you integrating everything onto this device, or onto multiple devices?
Right, it's a great question. When we use the term Microsoft, I mean, Microsoft is a number of large businesses, and each of those businesses has a significant cloud offering in terms of how it goes to market, whether it's Xbox, with Xbox Live and how we drive online gaming and how people game together, whether it's Office, Microsoft Office with Office web apps, some free offerings and some paid offerings in terms of how it works with Office. And so when I answer the question, I won't go into all those businesses, it really is important to think about what type of audience we're answering the question for, whether it's a consumer, whether it's a small business, or whether it's an enterprise, or indeed an education, an educational institute. At the high level, everything that we offer and everything that we're doing is tailored towards the cloud. We've been in the cloud now for 15 years or longer in terms of the services we've been offering. The largest cloud service in the world happens to be Windows Update, which is what genuine PCs get to make sure that they're protected and looked after in terms of how they work going forward. More complex scenarios, in say, let's talk in a business of 30 or 40 PCs that's in a the legal profession is we have solutions in a partner network called the Small Business Specialists. And so the small business specialists that we train to be able to offer those solutions specifically for small business, which would have Exchange, backed up email locally, enterprise grade in terms of how it works, SharePoint collaboration, the ability to use portals internally and websites, their ability to manage their PCs, this type of thing, you know. And of course that scenario that a small business is after really depends on the level of IT skill they have in the business. Some people, sometimes the owner is very tech savvy, or they have employed tech specialists. Sometimes they're not, right? And if they're not, they really do look to leverage the cloud more than on-premise. And there's a bit of a trade-off sometimes as to I need this, but I don't want to support it. How am I going to do it? And do I have a trusted partner that I can work with? Typically, a small business itself could be a Microsoft partner, and they'll work with 7 or 8 customers. Now, if we're not working with that partner in Davao or Cebu or Iloilo, then the answer is that we're probably not working with that customer. So it's really important that we are reaching out across the country to make sure we're driving that experience. A key differentiators of Microsoft, I think, is that we've been in the business software game for a very long time. So when you look at those live services and how they work, they work. They're not built for advertising. They're built to deliver enterprise software in terms of how they deliver the market.
What is Microsoft doing about training people to use it? Because you have all these massive technologies going behind this, and we're talking about the Philippines. We're talking about education. I mean, I'm looking at how will one small office in way down in Davao or way down in Mindanao somewhere maybe, and how do you get those people to know about all of this? Because I think that is one key to the success of Microsoft in the Philippines, right? So what are you doing about it?
Well, it starts with education, and so we're working from the very entry point where children are entering the school system all the way through to universities to make sure that when people leave that university, say they're going into a finance role in a major bank, that they may not know the company they're joining that well, they may not know their job that well, but when they arrive, they actually can use Excel and business intelligence better than anyone at the bank, right? So we're really working to say, hey, when we come through the system, the educational system, let's make sure that people arrive very tech savvy and very employable. And that's a big piece of work we do. We have a Partners in Learning program and a number of programs that we do working with DepEd to make sure we drive that across the base. And we also have a number of programs like Imagine Cup. I don't know if you've heard of Imagine Cup. Imagine Cup is the largest students development competition in the world, and the Philippines has been very successful in that over the last couple of years. This year we'll hold even local finals, so we'll have a competition where teams from across the Philippines compete to represent the Philippines in Australia this year. And that's good because it's breeding excitement around skills in IT, but it's also the way it works. They have a business mentor. It encourages them to think of the software as a startup.
So now that we talk about everyone up to the lower age or the lower levels using Microsoft already, what is Microsoft doing about piracy here in Southern Philippines?
Piracy is obviously is a big topic in terms of how it works. I think one of the things I'd like to put out there, and specifically normally when we talk about piracy, we're talking about the Windows operating system and with PCs. And there's a couple of things I'd like to get across here. One is the reason we have that low price offering is to make sure that people that are buying lower value PCs don't feel the pinch when they're buying Windows Genuine with it. When you buy genuine copies of Windows 7, you also get access to Security Essentials, which is a free antivirus product, which actually people often end up buying getting pirated software and then spending more on an antivirus product, right? So actually, economically, piracy to me actually doesn't make sense when you're buying a device. So we want to make sure that people understand that, you know, when you buy an operating system that is non-genuine, that causes you a number of issues around the speed of the machine in terms of how it works, the fact that you don't receive Windows updates, that your operating system becomes out of date, and that makes it more and more vulnerable. And so that's an important area in terms of education that we focus on. In answer to your question, the number one role that we have to play is absolutely in education, helping people understand why a decision to buy non-genuine software is a big economical disadvantage to them. Not just because it doesn't financially make sense when you think about what you get with Windows product when you buy the PC, and the fact that it's a small fraction of the percentage of the cost of the device that you're buying, but also in terms of your ability to get the best out of productivity and not lose data and that type of thing.
So, you know, you have all these products. What will be Microsoft's focused on for the next couple of months? I mean, you have Windows Phone 7, you have Office 2010. What else is is coming up for Microsoft?
That's a great question. So, I mean, big focus for us is Windows 7 deployment and Office 2010 deployment. So those products have gained amazing inertia in the Philippines. So we're trying to keep up and keep our partners up with helping customers get that stuff deployed well within their businesses. That's definitely a massive focus. Windows Phone 7, has just been an amazing product. The customer satisfaction is just incredible.
Yes.
Both globally but locally. I've been amazed by the reception of the product in terms of how it's come. We've got a new release of that product coming up very, very soon.
So what are the growth areas you see in the Southern Philippines market, especially in Cebu?
Right, okay.
Yeah.
Great. Let's start the way we finished, with the Southern focus. So it's been interesting. I've been spending some time talking with George and the team here in Cebu. We've been traveling around the region, talking to customers and partners to try and really understand how we drive growth and what's required. It's clear to me that some specializations around small business are very important to this region and to this area. So that's something I think that we can do a better job with going forward and we can focus on. But really it's about making sure that everything that we're doing to any audience is being done very well in the South. One of our great learnings in the last couple of weeks, we've been doing some research, is about the amount of information that is really got from the web. And particularly people are using search engines to access information about what should I do with particular technologies, as well as blog sites and stuff like that. So we're also making some significant investments in how we change how we talk to SMEs in the Philippines specifically to make sure that they're getting the access to the information that they need to get. Cebu is absolutely the center from which we drive to the south, and we're very focused in this area. We've got some great partners. But when I speak to customers, they see that we need to do a better job of helping them learn about how to make the most of solutions and to help our partners get stronger at deploying those solutions.
Well, guys, I think we ran out of time already, so it was a pleasure talking to you, John.
Thanks, man.
Yes, and I hope we meet again and do more. I still have more questions, but unfortunately we're out of time.
Look forward to it.
Yes, thank you. So again, guys, thank you for checking out this segment of Juic-e News of Tech Island. See you later.